Scintillating, dominant, brilliant. Racing experts and observers alike exhausted every conceivable superlative to describe the race career of the mighty Uncle Mo. He was that good. When he burst on the scene as a 2-year-old in a 1,200-metre maiden at Saratoga in August, everyone knew they'd seen something special.
Uncle Mo, he demolished the field. He won by 15 lengths.
I can't remember a 2-year-old winning as impressively as he did. He was devastating that day, won by over 14 lengths.
I think Uncle Mo's best performance as a 2-year-old was actually his first start. It was at Saratoga as a summer 2-year-old, and it was a devastating performance. He jumped, led and just blew them away, won by 14 lengths, and it was a completely dominant 2-year-old performance.
Then, stepping straight up to Grade 1 company on just his second start, he completely dominated the Champagne Stakes, a race won in the past by top-class Australasian sire De Heer.
Well, here is Uncle Mo, and he is indeed the real deal. Uncle Mo, under the line, a 5-length winner.
And when he won the Champagne Stakes, what I found incredibly impressive was the fact that he was able to set the pace and run a half in 45 and change, which is very fast, and then come home his last quarter in 24 flat. And you don't see horses coming home that fast who have just set the pace.
The Champagne historically has been a great race, great 2-year-old race, great stallion race, and he took command from the beginning and won in time. I think was the fastest since Seattle Slew had run.
Next up was another awesome display in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where he succeeded where the likes of Street Cry had failed in routing a field that included 7 individual Group 1 winners.
They are coming to the top of the lane and Riveting Reason desperate to hold on, but Uncle Mo is breathing down his neck and Uncle Mo is let loose and look at him stride away. Uncle Mo, he's opening up, boys on Toscanova is second, but this is an overwhelming performance by Uncle Mo, the son of Indian Charlie. Superb in the juvenile.
Sometimes you watch a horse run and they absolutely control a race from start to finish. And you could see the way he was moving, that he was controlling that race, that there was no way he was going to get beat, that he was in another class from the other horses.
You know, when John Velasquez pulled the trigger at the top of the stretch, he just lowered down and took off again.
He's probably the best 2-year-old winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile that I've seen. I think with Uncle Mo, that speed and precocity is what is going to carry him a long way as a stallion in Australia. We have a unique setup in Australia with early precocious racing as 2-year-olds, and Uncle Mo had that in spades. He has a brilliant mind, a very good 2-year-old mind. He's one of those horses like a Readout's Choice, like Danehill, like More Than Ready. Those horses with great 2-year-old minds that can really just relax in a race. But when it comes down to it, they really do have a turn of foot and really be able to sprint. And they're the sort of horses that really make it in Australia from overseas.
A near unanimous choice for champion 2-year-old male at the Eclipse Awards, it was no surprise that Uncle Mo was also the highest rated 2-year-old by a margin of £5 on the US experimental free handicap, his rating of 128 being the highest since 1997.
What he did as a 2-year-old is almost unprecedented, to run the numbers he did and to win with the dominance that he did. If you look at his races, even as a 2-year-old, when he ran a 108 Beyer number as a 2-year-old. Now, a lot of people might not be able to equate a 108, whether it's good or bad. Well, just look at it this way. If you take all the horses in the Breeders' Cup Classic right now, that only 2 of them have run a 108 in their entire careers. And we're talking about these are seasoned horses. So he did it as a 2-year-old.
I think Uncle Mo's race record as a 2-year-old is probably the main thing for Australian breeders. You know, he had speed, he had precocity, and the other thing he did have here is that rare brand of acceleration. Like the horse really could accelerate at the end of a race, and you don't see that often with horses up here in America that come down. And when you think about the best stallions that have gone to Australia, horses like More Than Ready and De Heer, they've had that ability to accelerate at the end of a race. And Uncle Mo was one of those horses that could really let down and accelerate at the end of a race. He was a top-class 3-year-old, but an even better 2-year-old, like truly one of the best 2-year-olds I think I've ever seen.
The early favourite for the Kentucky Derby, Uncle Mo made his return to the track at 3 in the Timely Writers Stakes over a mile, zipping through his final 400 metres in under 23 seconds without his rider even drawing the whip. He just oozed class.
Uncle Mo is back. His 3-year-old debut was a winning one. He took it by 4.5 lengths.
Unfortunately, Kentucky Derby dreams were dashed when Mo was diagnosed with a rare liver ailment and he was scratched on the eve of the race. But after a near 5-month spell on the sidelines, he was pitched back in at the very highest level in the Grade 1 King's Bishop Stakes.
Can Uncle Mo hold off Caleb's posse? It's going to be a photo finish in the King's Bishop that is too close to call.
That was a top effort in a race that's produced top sires such as Tale of the Cat and More Than Ready over 1,400 metres at Saratoga.
It was an ambitious plan to try the King's Bishop off the layoff and off the illness, but he trained really well, and we were a little unfortunate to get beat a tough nose, but really moved him forward for another devastating performance in the Kelso.
And that is when he really turned on the style.
But it's Uncle Mo's got something left. Now he's clear by 3. Now he's clear by 4 as they come down to the finish. He repelled Jackson Ben. Uncle Mo, he's back. Look at the time in the mud, 1:33 and 4.
You have to remember that that was the big day where they had 5 Grade 1 stakes. And all anybody was talking about was the only race on the card that was a Grade 2. But he created such a buzz by winning the way he did to beat older horses. A horse like Jackson Ben, who got a perfect trip to come up on the inside of him, and he just looked him in the eye and just took off. And to earn a 118 buyer is so far above the realm of anything that anybody's been running. And I think from that point on, everybody realized that not only is he back, but he's back and better than ever.
An awesome-looking individual by a high-class sire in Indian Charlie, an outcross to conventional Australasian bloodlines, Uncle Mo has the pedigree to become a sire success in Australasia.
Well, Uncle Mo's got a very nice pedigree. Obviously, he's by Indian Charlie, who's a leading sire here in North America. Goes himself up to a lot of the common lines down in Australia. Obviously, Danehill and even the Mr. Prospector line mares that have done very well down there in Australia. Indian Charlie himself has done very well with Mr. Prospector line mares. So he's got a lovely pedigree, outcross pedigree. It should really work with a lot of the major sire lines down in Australia, including some of the older sire lines, Star Kingdom and those sorts of things that have been there for a long time. Uncle Mo has a pedigree that obviously lends itself to a lot of broodmare sires, but in particular I think that he will suit a lot of the leading sires down in Australia, in particular horses like Encosta de Lago and Readout's Choice, Fastnet Rock, Sons of Danehill. He should particularly suit those sorts of stallions. He's got very much a pedigree that sets himself up to be a dominant stallion in Australia in the years to come.
Pedigree, physique, performance. Uncle Mo has it all.